every presenter who sent me their script, which was good. I gave them 1 or 2 suggestions. They sent back the script based on my advice. And then what we'll be hearing is their version 2 that we are putting under the magnifying glass. So Valerie, are you there? You are going to set up and introduce our speakers.
Speaker is going to be Melody Byrd. Her speech is Tell Somebody, Melody Byrd.
Who amongst us hasn't had a dream that we didn't know how to make come true? Well, Toastmasters and fellow dreamers, I had a dream. I always wanted to be an author. I had a variety of stories rolling in my head, and I just wished that the book publishing fairy would magically appear, pluck them from my brain, and publish them in a book. I knew that would never happen. So I put my dream on the shelf and let it collect dust. But the dream continued to haunt me. So I figured I'd do some research to see how to make this happen. However, every website that I visited had negative information. There was one that said, the publisher is just gonna annihilate your story. There was another that said, the editor is going to just rip it to shreds. And my favorite said, honey, don't even bother unless you is a glutton for punishment. Well, Toastmasters and Dreamers, I am not a glutton for punishment. So I decided that the dust wasn't so bad. After putting more thought to it though, the light bulb finally went off. I remembered that there was another way to make your dreams come true. All you do is simply tell somebody. That's what I did for 10 long years. I would go to networking events and I would introduce myself as Melody Byrd, an award-winning speaker, as well as a budding best-selling author. The crowd would cheer me on, but the book publishing fairy was nowhere to be found. Then I would attend Toastmasters conferences. You've been there, when the presenters would say, all good presenters must have a book. I would wonder, am I a good presenter? Why, yes, I am. Then I must have a book too. So I began telling people about my dream. Eventually, my friend Rachel called and said, Melody, do you still want to be an author? Why, yes, I do. Then I'll introduce you to my friend, J.B. Owen. She simplifies the entire book publishing process. She recruits authors from all around the world, coaches them, and publishes their stories. Wow, sign me up. After brief introductions, my story came out of my heart and onto the paper in several weeks. Then there were 3 editing sessions, a book-worthy photo shoot, and voila, the magic happened. J.B. Owen was indeed my book publishing fairy. In August 2020, I was proud to announce that I became the contributing author to an Amazon international best-selling book entitled Ignite Happiness. It details the story of my life and all the drama going from a college dropout to a college graduate. Toastmasters and fellow dreamers, do you have a dream that you don't know how to make come true? Well, if the answer is yes, then the solution is simple. Just tell somebody, and then that somebody will know somebody else who can help you make your dream come true. Ms. Fripp.
That was absolutely fabulous. because you have a great personality, you have great energy, and you deliver it well. Can you remember what advice I gave you the first time?
To probably to remove all the eyes.
To
Yeah.
edit out some of the eyes, yes. Now, of course, there are different parts of the presentation. First of all, there is the creative process, and the creative process is messy. And what I would encourage everyone to do is to have a yellow pad, a flip chart, a whiteboard, and put all the ideas and the lines and the stories that are going in your presentation in one place and think about it. From the messiness, then you create a speech. And that is when we get the script. It is very difficult to write conversationally. So it's sometimes better to speak it. That feels good in my mouth. That flows, and then write that down, or write it and say it out loud, because the written word is for the eye. The spoken word is for the rhythm. And it's usually easier to speak in shorter sentences. The delivery is what we just saw. And when the audience likes you, and of course, Melody, you are just likable because you do so much right. The big smile, no one can resist it. And the good part to remember is your audience will forgive you almost anything except being boring. And you are not boring. While we are developing our skills, we can still have a great connection to our audience while we're perfecting. So there were a couple of phrases I heard in that which made what the second version even better. So what I will now do is go through my rewrite of your second version. And if you would like to, do you have your script in front of you?
I
Good.
do.
What you might want to do is mark any areas that you notice are changed. For example, you did use less eyes and I took some more out. And in your first script, you had a no word, which was tons, which you took out. What I attempted to do is paint scenes that communicate what you're trying to say. In Hollywood, they would say, don't tell me, show me. And how that happened in one of my presentations, my friend Michael Haig, I was talking about, who's the story consultant. I was running my presentation by him and he said, Patricia, you said she was shy. Don't tell your audience she's shy. Tell them she always sat in the back of the room and for 8 months she never opened her mouth. That's painting a scene that we can see. I changed some of the quality, what I would call quality words. Now, I believe you changed it again because you said head and I charged it to mind. And I believe in this version you just gave us, you said your heart. Anyway, we'll see. Brought the audience into the experience and tightened the conversation. Also, you have some great lines which I repeated. You might call it an echo or a chorus. It's some of your great lines you repeat throughout. With conversation, if there are two people having a conversation and it's obvious what the second person says, you can take them out and keep going through one side of the conversation. And this you will see, Melody, when you talk about, oh, yes, I do. We all know you would say, yes, I do.
Yeah.
So in this version, you'll say, I took it out.
Okay.
All right, here we go. And if you like any special area or change you notice I make, Melody, you
Yes.
can go, ooh, I like it. All right?
Okay.
While I'm speaking.
Okay.
Who amongst us has not had a dream that we did not know how to make come true? Toastmasters and fellow dreamers, I had a dream. As long as I can remember, I always wanted to be an author.
Like it.
I had amassed a variety of stories and secretly wished that the book publishing fairy would magically show up and pluck them from my mind and publish them in a book. As you can guess, the fairy was distracted and my dream was on the shelf and left to collect dust.
Love it.
The idea of looking into my local bookstore's window at a huge display of my books and getting a call from Oprah's producer haunted me. See, that's showing them, not telling them what you wanted. That's what I call a scene.
Okay.
Finally, I took charge and began to research how to get my book published. What I found would drive any budding author to despair. Bloggers wrote, the editors will rip your book to shreds and the publishers will annihilate your dreams. And my favorite, don't even bother unless you're a glutton for punishment. Suddenly, the abundance of dust didn't seem so bad.
Right.
Now, you delivered that well. I just brought the dust. I emphasized the dust a little.
Okay.
Right. As life went on at every Toastmasters conference, now what you added that I really liked that wasn't in my script was for 10 years. That was very good. As life went by, at every Toastmasters conference, I would hear, all great speakers have a published book. That challenged me to ask, aren't I a great speaker? I need a book. One morning I woke up and remembered. This is a part I changed. In every goal-setting seminar I'd attended, the speaker always said, when you set a goal, if you proclaim it publicly, there is much more chance you will accomplish it. That and that is what every goal-setting speaker does say. I know when I used to talk about goal setting, I said it. So that is giving more added credibility to your opinion.
Okay, love it.
Okay. From that moment on, at networking events, I introduced myself. My name is Melody Byrd. I am an award-winning speaker and soon to be best-selling author. My friends laughed and cheered me on. That darn book publishing fairy never showed up. Now, again, that's one of the echoes. Until one day, my friend Rachel asked, do you still want to be an author? Let me introduce you to my friend, J.B. Owen, an author and publisher who simplifies the book publishing process. She recruits authors like you from around the world, coaches them through the story writing process, hosts weekly masterminds, and eventually publishes their stories. Why not sign up right now?
Okay.
See, we know what you would answer. That's why it's just one side of the conversation.
Got it.
Fast forward 4 weeks. My stories and ideas poured from my mind onto paper. 3 editing sessions later, I submitted a book-worthy picture and voila, the magic happened. J.B. Owen was indeed my book publishing fairy. On August, and I believe you could add in here, I'm proud to tell you.
Yes.
In August 2020, I became a published author to an Amazon International best-selling book entitled Ignite Happiness. The contribution told of my college days following the story of college dropout to college graduate and the drama in between. Now you could put the drama and humor in between, whatever.
Yeah.
Toastmasters and dreamers, the question is, how often have you let your dream collect dust? Learn from my lesson. Simply introduce yourself as having accomplished what you want. Someone will know. Now I changed. You had somebody will know somebody. I think it sounds better. Someone will know somebody who can help you make your dream come true. Believe me, it works. And remember, those darn fairies don't look the way you expect.
I love it. Thank you.
All right, now good. And you understand this would be almost impossible to do if you hadn't gone to the trouble of giving me the script.
That is true.
Because when I've been with District 103 before, what we do is bring people up and just say, start speaking till I touch your shoulder.
Yeah.
And it's usually 1 or 2 lines, and we work on it, and we'll have maybe 20 people rush on stage. With this, it takes more work for both of us and the brave volunteers. And I want to acknowledge for our audience how brave these volunteers are to submit a script that is not only going to be introduced to the audience, but also on YouTube for the rest of their lives. So just like Larry Mariottini, people suddenly wonder, is that really what happened? But that was absolutely magnificent. I thank you for your effort. And I hope our audience agrees. What began good, these principles, less eyes, one side of the add conversation wherever possible, and these great lines, the dust and the fairy, bring them back.
Thank you.
An echo or a chorus. Great job. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yay.